Gentlemen, let me come up first.
Well, especially when everybody's watching.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Microphone was on.
Yeah, it was. How long was it on? That's the question.
Hopefully not during the worship, because I'm not sure, but I have no voice for worship.
Or when you were in the bathroom. That's the worst. Forget your microphone on? Yeah, it's bad.
Happened to some people. Well, it's Legacy Sunday. Really, actually, it's Legacy Weekend. We had an amazing night Friday. Yes, at the Building Bridges Legacy Gala. And actually, the celebration continues because we want to share with you guys what God has been doing for the last 3 years, but also we want to share with you where God is taking us for the next 300 years. We have a long vision because we believe and we think that church is not just about us, it's also about the next generation. So on Friday night, I shared some of my story growing up in Romania under the communism and with an abusive father. It was as a teenager that I experienced, I discovered the community of believers. I discovered church. Through my friendship with our youth leader, I realized that I am not what my father used to call me. Like, I'm not insignificant, I'm not stupid, I'm not a failure. And actually, my youth leader helped me realize that although my father did not want me, I was created with a purpose, for a purpose, with talents and gifts. So around 19, 20 years old, I decided to work hard, invest smart, and create a source of income that eventually will empower me to influence as many people as I can. If God could save a kid, a teenager like me, God can definitely save a lot more out there. So fast forward 20 years or so, I immigrated to United States. I married Kelly, and we do have three wonderful kids, three wonderful boys, amazing boys. Do we have a picture or not?
No picture. They know what we look like.
Pretty much. So, surrounded by God's provision and by amazing people, we launched actually Influence Church in September 2021, just a little over 3 years ago.
So over the past 3.5 years, Influence Church has been committed to being a blessing to our community. Everything we do, and most of you who have been here a while are familiar with this, everything we do focuses on helping people to first know God. We want every person who interacts with us to know that there is a God who is not mad at them, who loves them and wants to have a relationship with them. And then we want people to find freedom. Freedom from the things that hold us back. Those habits, those generational patterns, those sins, those strongholds. We believe that by God's Spirit, that He uses relationship and community to help us overcome all those bondages in our lives. And there is freedom for us to live this life. And then with that freedom, we can discover purpose. And we believe that God created each person on purpose, for a purpose. And we get the honor of helping people discover and step into using their gifts so that they can then influence their world. That's why we're called Influence Church. Hey, during these past 3 years, we are so thankful for all the people that we've been able to meet and interact with in the community, many of whom have become really dear friends. And I actually asked one such friend if I could interview her about what she thinks about Influence Church coming to Hanover. We played this video on Friday night, but it is wonderful, and I wanted all of you to be able to see it. I sat down with our sweet friend Claudia, and I want to share this video. It is so fun. If you don't know Claudia, she's like the Hanover grandma. She is feisty and fun, and you are going to love this. So just enjoy. So Claudia, tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Claudia Pingree. We found this delightful town 37 years ago. I felt like I was home the day we moved here. Well, actually, I felt like I was home the day we came. We walked across the bridge. That was home. We absolutely love this community. Everybody here is so special, so loving, so caring. And that's what I can say. It's my community. I love it. We're so fortunate to be here.
Very involved. So what are you involved with?
Well, obviously, we're sitting here at the Historical Society. This used to be, in 1885, it was built as a Methodist church. It was used for services. There was a circuit rider that came by once every 2 to 3 weeks, but they also used it for community events. And that's what we're striving to do here, is to make this part of the community, keep it as a community resource. And I'm really involved in this, and I love it. I used to work with the Harvest Festival when we first started it. That was another joy of mine. I'm unable to do much of that anymore, but I still totally enjoy it. I'm so proud of what we do. Another real love of mine is the senior center that we have from St. Michael, Hanover, and Albertville. They do so much and give so much, which is really important. I also do a little bit of work at St. Vincent de Paul, where they help people in need, and we have a little thrift store in St. Michael, so that's pretty special too. So I do what I can, and I absolutely enjoy. And one of my real joys, honestly, Kelly, has been interacting with you during all these years that you've been here. You have helped us in all the things that I have been doing and that we have been doing as a community. We love having you here. You and your husband, your church, everything that you do is just a great resource and a great addition to my special little town.
Love being here. You have come through the food distribution one times, and I just wonder what you think about that.
That food distribution is phenomenal. I didn't think I should come through there because I thought there's people that need it more than we do. So I did not go at first. A couple of your people encouraged me to do it, so I did go. I will admit, it's really a good deal. I enjoy seeing the people that come through. It's amazing, the people that are lined up and are taking advantage of it. And you know, people have pride and they may not want to admit that they need it. But that isn't the object. It's another community event that you're taking advantage of. And often the things that I get there, it's too much for my husband and I to use. So I honestly share and give it to other people that I can know that can use it. And I know that other people do the same thing. So we really appreciate what you're doing there. It's a wonderful thing. Well, I love the fact that you guys always step up. You've worked with the Harvest Festival. That's another love of mine. And you're right there whenever we need anything. You're there for the Harvest Festival. You've been with the Historical Society here at our Christmas caroling at the bridge. We've reached the point that we need volunteers. There are not enough of us that are active here at the Historical Society. And you guys are right there helping. You have no idea how much we appreciate it and what a part of the community you are. I know you also do raking of leaves for seniors and that type of thing. That's through the Senior Center of St. Michael, Hanover, and Albertville. That's a big part of our lives too. And you're stepping right up and becoming part of it, and we're so thrilled to have you here. So thank you.
So good at expressing yourself. I just love it.
Well, when it's something that I'm enthused over, it's not hard to do. Oh, what you've done for the fire department. Having the event, our fire department is pretty special. I have to tell people about our fire department. And this doesn't have to do just with you. When we were buying our house out here 37 years ago, we had a insurance agent who'd been our agent. We'd been married 30 years at that point. And our agent said, oh my gosh, you're moving to Hanover. They have the best volunteer fire department in the state. And since we've been here, we've come to realize we do. We're so proud of them. They're so caring, they're so giving. And Kelly and Pastor C are just standing up for them. They've had events for them to try and help support them and work with them. And it's also raising an awareness of the community with the fire department. And that's pretty special too. I think that's important.
So Influence Church has been here for 3 years in the community, and now certain that we're here to stay.
We hope so.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, I tell you what, Influence is not the church I go to. I do go to another church within the communities. But I'm so proud of telling people about this church and what they do. Yes, we are very, very fortunate. They fit our community beautifully. They're caring, they're giving, they're loving. It's a perfect fit. Please stay forever. You know, this church that we're sitting in here now has been here since 1885. It was a part of the community then, not just as a church, but as a community. They held community events here, and they just became part of it, and that's what you're becoming. Pretty special. So thank you.
About some of the things that we have been involved as a church, and are a lot more voices like Claudia in a town that are really, really appreciative of what Influence Church is doing into the community. And I'm a firm believer that what the church is supposed to be in the community, supposed to serve the community. And to be able to show you more of what Influence Church has been doing for the last 3 years, we put together a video. So let's watch these 3 years in a 5-minute video. we had a lot of fun in the past 3 years. And as you see, even as a portable church, we are starting to become pretty established in the community. We love joining what the city is already doing and bringing a little help, a little hope, bringing God through our worship, through our service, through our acts of kindness, through our actions. We believe that as a church, we can do more for people in Hanover and in the surrounding areas. We have some big dreams. We have a vision for what we can do in the future. To love more, to serve more, to influence more. We have a vision, and as a church, we will steadily take step after step after step in making that vision a reality. We have a vision, but the pace at which we advance or we are able to make the vision a reality, it's really in your hands. This legacy season at Influence Church is about accelerating our ability to reach more people that need to know God, that need hope in their lives, that need to find freedom, to discover purpose, to be able to eventually influence their world. And just to give you I am a firm believer that through our tithe, we operate as a church. But through the legacy, we are going to be able to advance or accelerate God's vision that it's for Influence Church. Building a legacy is not about what we are already doing. It's actually what we could do. We are going to keep doing what we are doing because we love what we are doing. But what more could we do? And what's the legacy? What legacy do we want to leave behind? So today, let's look at our vision for the future of Influence Church, and we like to share with you 5 lanes or 5 legacy lanes, 5 areas that we think God is calling us to be intentional. So those 5 legacy lanes are the church, and then the next gen is the local missions, national missions, and of course, international missions also. So the first lane is church. And this is about expanding how we can serve the people of the church. Right now, we are portable church. We are church in a box, or if you want to call it church in a trailer. And I think we do pretty well in spite of only being able to meet only when we can rent a space. And I'm so thankful for our portability team that it's coming really early and is setting up everything and is tearing down everything. And you know what? It's not easy, especially in the winter time. But they do a great job and they do it with joy. Like to see their smile and their attitude. And sometimes I drive the trailer in the parking lot and I find already 2, 3, 4 cars already waiting to start setting up. So we are doing pretty good, but think about Influence Church in a box or in the trailer like Israel was, setting up the tabernacle and tear down, setting up and tear down. And they did it for quite some times. But we think we are called to pursue a permanent location because we are here to stay, and I think it is time to try to find our home base. Having our own building will empower us to be able to serve the community 7 days a week, instead of only when we can rent space for a few hours. For the last few months, actually, our church has been looking to purchase land in Hanover. And as many of you know, probably by now, we do have a purchase agreement signed, but it's contingent on doing our due diligence because we want to be sure we will be able to build on that land everything that God intended for Influence Church to build. But whatever is this property or another, we want to be ready and prepared to be able to purchase that land.
So the first legacy lane is the church, and the second lane is next gen. Because at Influence Church, we have a huge emphasis on the next generation. We have amazing youth leaders. We have amazing youth. And Influence Next Gen has actually doubled in size in this past year. We have up to 40 teens aged 12 to 18 that invade the Wheatoffs home every Wednesday night. And these teens are not just coming to hang out, but they are coming to be discipled, to be mentored, to be equipped, to be developed. So our philosophy is that these teenagers aren't going to be leaders. They already are. How many of you were at Youth Takeover Sunday in August? You saw a few pictures here. We are so proud of each of our teens and how they are pursuing the Lord. Like, it is a joy to watch it. And I shared some statistics about Gen Z on Friday night, and I'd like to share them again today. So a national study found that 1 in 4 Gen Zers report that their mental health is fair or poor, making their rates of mental health issues the highest of any other generation. And a global youth culture report found that 35% of teens in the U.S. reported having suicidal thoughts in the past 3 months. And also 65% of teens reported experiencing high levels of anxiety. And this is kind of the world we're at, the space we're at for our kids. But this same study found that these teens said that consistent engagement with a community of faith helped them have a more positive outlook on life. And I mean, isn't that true for all of us? Consistent engagement in a faith community like this one. And we want to provide that for our teens. We have a vision for a future youth center that would serve the teens of this community, and this would be a place where they would know that they matter, where they can build good, solid friendships, where their character will be built, where they will be challenged to step up and become heroes to their peers. We want to lead them to live for something much bigger than themselves. So we have our eyes set on a future youth center, either connected or on the property of our future church building, with lots of hangout space and room for those crazy youth games, as well as spaces for small groups and creative spaces that can facilitate the dreams of this generation. It's going to be amazing.
So the third lane, it's what we call the local mission lanes. At Influence Church, we believe that the church is called to be out in the community, serving others, inspiring others, bringing hope and wholeness. When we talk about legacy, our goal is not only to keep doing what we've been doing, but to do even more. And our approach is always, where are the needs in the community? What can we do to fulfill some of those needs? And what impact, where can we have the greatest impact as a church? Let's take the food distribution as an example. We started in May 2022 with 49 boxes. Since then, we have served over 10,000 people with over 157,000 pounds of food. Those are a lot of boxes, loading and unloading in the trailers. And this is a need that actually keeps growing, and kept growing from May 2022 with 49 boxes to 165 boxes last month. Think about it. From 50 to over 150. That's triple in 2 years. And if this keeps growing, we want to be prepared to invest in anything that we might need to keep serving people. That this could include maybe a new trailer, if it keeps growing, because we are kind of at the limit of the trailer. Or maybe a truck to pull the trailer, or some refrigeration units system. We see this ministry and others like it expanding in the future. And as we strive to influence our local community, we want to be intentional in preparing to be ready for anything that we might have to step in. The fourth and fifth lane are the national and international lanes. And our focus is not just on our little church here or our wonderful city, but we have a bigger vision for being a part of God's work at the national and international level. Our final two legacy lanes are, as I mentioned, national and international. You might say, whoa, you don't even have a building. Why do you start thinking about national or international? Yes, we do. And actually, we already are influencing our world on a national and international level. As a church, we believe that I practiced tithing since I was a teenager. And by practice tithing, I saw God's blessings on us. And if we ask people to practice the tithing, we as a church want to practice tithing. Actually, 10% from all the income that is coming for the church, we take that one and we allocate it to national and international ministries. Because we want to be intentional, not just keep our mind on what is here, but what God is doing out there. That's another reason why once or twice a year we send everybody out there in Encourage Church Sunday to visit other churches, to inspire other people, to encourage other people. It's not just about us here. We have to start having a much bigger vision. And we want we are trying to think out of the box. And actually, on one of our vision, it's also to build a venue center or an event center, just like the one we were last Friday, where we can serve the community with that event center, but also the event center to start creating a source of income to be able to support some of those local, national, and international ministries.
We know that God has given us a big vision, and it can be a little scary. But if the vision is from God, then He will accomplish it. We want to take a few minutes together this morning and talk about another person who was given a big vision from God. His name is Abraham. Well, actually, in this passage we're going to read, his name is Abram, and God later changes his name to Abraham. But we don't sing, Father Abram had many children, so just want you to know who we're talking about. Abraham, he is also known as the father of faith. So we're going to look at Genesis chapter 12, where we find his story. It says, the Lord had said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. This is what God told Abram to do. Go from your country. I know someone else who was told the same thing. Huh? I'm so proud of my husband for following God, for following God's leading and leaving everything that he knew 21 years ago to come to the land of 10,000 lakes. And Abraham had to leave what was familiar to him in order to step into God's plan for him. So Abram was told to leave what he knew and to follow God's leading. And then we see God's part in this vision for Abraham. God says in verse 2, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on the earth will be blessed through you. So Abram went as the Lord had told him. Now let's jump down to verse 7. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, to your offspring I will give this land. So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. So the promise that God is giving to Abraham is not just for Abram, but it's for Abram's offspring. It's for next gen. To your offspring, I'll give this land. And I feel like God is saying that to us as well. What we do now in this season will affect generations to come. We are laying a foundation for our kids to inherit. That's why we emphasize next gen. That's why we emphasize iKids. It's not just for us. It's for them and their future. And I don't know if you realize this, but most people who accept the Lord, who put their faith in Jesus, do so between the ages of 4 and 14. It is so important for us to create a space where God can meet teens and kids where they are at, to show himself to them, and be so that they can be surrounded by mentors and adults who care about them and love the Lord and can help them to meet him and determine to live their lives for him. Now, the second nugget of inspirational gold that dropped in my brain this week as I was reading this passage is found in verse 9. It's such a simple sentence and seems almost unimportant, but again, it just hit me like a bam. It just hit me differently this week, and I'm going to read it from the Christian Standard Bible in Genesis 12:9. Then Abram journeyed by stages to the Negev. That phrase, by stages. He journeyed by stages. God gave him this huge vision. The whole world is going to be blessed because of you. He promised immeasurable blessings for generations to come, and Abram walked into it one step at a time. So my question for us this morning is, what stage are we on? We believe that our next stage as a church is not that different from Abram. God showed him the land he was going to give to him and his descendants. And what do you know? We're looking for the land God's going to give to us. I hope that you are as encouraged as I was by this story. God has a much bigger vision than we realize, and he has blessings that go with it at every stage. Our part is to listen and obey and take those steps. He takes care of the rest. His vision is for us, but more importantly, for future generations. And he will lead us into it one step at a time.
And I love that part where God is taking us one step at a time. To be honest with you, I kind of learned to love it, because at the beginning I hated it, if I can be honest. Because I love the whole master plan. Give me the whole plan, give me the whole road, tell me where I have to go. But sometimes, well, most of the time, God is leading us one step at a time. Because he wants us to put our faith in him. And we'll have, if we will have the whole road map, probably we'll start planning on our own and we'll start trusting God less and less. So I start learning to love one step at a time and walk in faith with him. So what is our next step towards making God's vision for us a reality? Securing the land for our permanent location. We have a goal to raise roughly around $100,000 as a down payment for the land. And our goal, please listen to me, because if you are thinking we are going to have a building next week, it's not going to happen. Well, although I have big faith,
It could.
It could.
I'd be down with that.
Right?
Okay.
But it's going to take a few weeks to build it, at least a couple weeks. I have faith in God, but our goal is to purchase the land, and our goal is to pay for the land in full before we'll make plans for building. We want to be intentional in accomplishing God's vision for Influence Church of bringing us into a permanent space, but not at the expense of the service to the community. we want to be very intentional in not damaging what we are doing for the community just to get a building. In fact, we are intentional in thinking out of the box about finances. Just like I shared, like the event center that we want to have, where it's going to start creating some source of income for future ministry. And think about, like Kelly mentioned, it's about the future, right? It's about our youth. It's about our next generation, that we will empower them to be able to do ministry much easier than we are doing right now. But you and I are the pioneers of setting up what God wants to set up for Influence Church to be successful for decades to come. So, as an event center, along the same lines, 3 years ago, together with 2 friends, I started a company called Strong Investments. This company is actually investing in commercial real estate to bring profit, of course, to the investors, for the LLC, for the company to prosper, but also technically the main goal for this company was to be able to fund other non-profit organizations for God's kingdom, for ministry. My idea from the beginning was to create a win-win-win situation. Many times you hear about the win-win situation. I win, we win, everybody wins. But I started probably around 10 years ago to have an approach to business from a win-win-win situation. If the company wins, if the investor wins, and if God's kingdom wins, then it's a win-win-win situation. And we have to be intentional in pursuing that. If you want more information about how you can be part of that, you can just let us know. Actually, in January, we are going to have a meeting to just present to people where we are from investing perspective and where we are going in the future. Influence Church is here to stay, is here to build, is here to serve. Influence Church exists because of people like you. We are thankful that you will take time to celebrate with us everything that God did in the last 3 years. But also, we are thankful for your prayers, your encouragement, and your support, if you can, to do what God is calling us to do through Influence Church. And I am excited for what the future holds, because we know God called us to do what we are doing. And when God called you, He's going to provide everything that is needed to empower you to do what He called you to do. So, we can have the worship team probably come. The next step that I would like you to think about it, on the chairs, you'll find a legacy card. And this legacy card, some of you had already the opportunity last Friday to fill out this legacy card. And what I would like to do today is, even if you filled a card, that legacy card, and that can be, you can say there are a couple options that you can select. If you cannot do financial support, don't worry about it. Maybe you want to offer some of your time through some of our ministries that we've been doing. Maybe you want to keep praying for us for the next maybe a week or 2 weeks, or maybe on a weekly basis you can pray for us. Don't think about this just numbers attitude. I want us to think about, see what God gifted us with, and how we can use those gifts to expand and to accelerate God's vision for through what we're doing at Influence Church. So we asked you to pray for the last couple weeks about what God might put on your heart to support financially. And this is a moment that maybe God spoke to you already. If not, what I would like to do is just take the next maybe 1-2 minutes as the worship team is going to lead us in worship, and just ask God, Lord, what is my part? What do you want me to do? And you know what? You might not be able to write a check for $1,000, but maybe you are able to make a monthly donation for $50 or $100. So I would like you to just think and just pray and just ask God to lead you. And we simply ask that you ask God and do what He says. I am a firm believer that Apostle Paul is saying in 1 Corinthians to the church of Corinth, he's saying this: God loves a cheerful giver, not out of guilt, not out of pressure. And at Influence Church, we want to be very intentional that people give out of generosity, give out joyfully, because God loves a joyful giver. I've been part of churches before where sometimes you feel pressured, sometimes you feel guilty in giving. I really ask God and let Him talk to you how you can be part of what God is doing through Influence Church.
Wait, it might be like this legacy offering. This is the first time we've done this. So if we seem awkward, that's why. We don't know what we're doing. But we're just taking one step at a time, like in obedience to what we feel like the Lord is asking us to do. And so this legacy time is above like our regular giving, because like we said, your tithes and your regular offerings are what fund the day-to-day things and the ministry we're already doing. But maybe you're here and you've never given or you've never tried tithing before. Maybe that's the step that God is asking you to do. And we both have tithes since we were children. We were taught that by our parents, and we've lived that way, and we've really, really been blessed through our lives because we've learned to trust in the Lord in this way. And so if you would like to explore that idea more, or even have a conversation about it, we would love to talk with you more to help bring more understanding. Or so I just wanted to offer that as you're asking the Lord, like, what do you want me to do? Really, that's all we're asking. Just ask Him and then obey. And together, that's all He asks for us. Let's obey.
Our goal, and I will be honest with you guys right here, it's awkward for me because I hate asking for money. I always told God, like, if you want me to do something, you give me the funds to do something. But so many times you find Bible verses in the Bible saying that you don't have because you don't ask. So sometimes we do have to do the ask. But we do not want to give what you don't have. Actually, our goal at Influence Church is to bring you to a place where you will be able to be a blessing to others. In fact, in next quarter, I'm going to teach again the financial class. Then if you are struggling with finances in your life, maybe it's a good place for you to start taking this financial class and see how we can apply biblical principles that will take us to a place where we can give generously out of the abundance. Because are some biblical principles that we need to follow to be able to receive God's blessings in our lives and to be able to experience not just God's generosity in our lives, but also to be able to give generously to others. So that being said,
so we're going to worship together. And then after that, I did not warn Paul, but we want to collect the cards. And we're gonna hold the cards even if you gave one on Friday. When we pray, I want you to just hold a card in your hand just symbolically because you're a part of this. You are a part of this. And so let's stand up together, let's worship, and then we'll end in prayer.